Hey, welcome to Viking Central. Minnesota Vikings, Bears, Monday Night Football, postgame. I have with me Ryan Jones, my man. We're both smiles right now. How you feeling, Ryan?
Oh man, roller coaster of emotions. I'm not quite sure what just happened. I feel both excited and dismayed all at the same time.
Hey, just some proof. There is still hair underneath my hat. Did not pull it all out in this game. First off, I want to go ahead and thank our sponsors, Badass Wood Art. I just want to go ahead and thank them first. Please make sure that you're using code VC15. Make sure that you're getting that 15% off at checkout. So make sure that you're using Badass Wood Art, our code VC15. Also want to give a shout out to SeatGeek and then also Homage. And we have that website link up there up top for Homage. Go ahead and use that and you can get discounts for Homage, and then we'll give a shout out to SeatGeek a little bit later in this, but we're going to go ahead and get into this. Make sure you're following us at all of our different socials below. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, or X right now, go ahead and leave us any comments, questions you have about the game. I'm sure you guys have tons of reactions. Ryan and I are going to jump into these. I believe Austin's going to join us here in a little bit. And possibly even Brett might jump on as well. But we're going to go ahead. Ryan and I are going to dive into this. Ryan and I have made sure that we are geared up.
I got notes, and more importantly, I have
absolutely
whiskey.
Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to jump into it. Let's talk about this one.
Okay. Cheers to the victory.
That's right. Victory drink for Ryan Jones. Vikings 27. Bears 24. Let's talk about what went well tonight for the Vikings. It started off with quarterback JJ McCarthy. All right. This first half, maybe the first three quarters. Almost, it was just rough is very light, a very light way to put this. And I did make a post in here about Thor Nystrom. Of course, he has heralded JJ McCarthy. He's been pushing that. He was getting a few, let's just say negative mentions. A few mentions, negative comments.
I mean, he brought that on himself. Like, you talk that highly about it, man. It's gonna happen.
I get it. But, I made mention that, hey, Thor, how many tweets did you bookmark here after we took the lead?
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling that,
he's taking a victory lap.
Yeah. Well, it's too early one way or another. But regardless, for how rough it started and how much flack maybe he was catching, or even JJ McCarthy was catching, you know what? He hung in there. And what it says about JJ McCarthy for his ability to, not get too down, hang in there, and threw 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground. Yes, he threw the terrible pick 6, but what do we make of his 13 of 20 night, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick in the passing game, and 1 touchdown on the ground? What do we make of that, Ryan?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, this guy's battle tested. I mean, you don't win a national title and you don't win as much as he won without having to figure it out mid-game as the game goes on. So there's no question that he's going to fight, and he's going to fight to the end, and that's definitely a quality you need and want in your starting quarterback. So first and foremost, that's what we learned, which I'm pretty sure we all knew already about him. But more importantly, I think we just learned that he has all the tools and traits to be great. Like, most importantly, and when I say tools and traits, I mean the ability to place the ball, the footwork, the ability to scramble and make plays, and the wherewithal and mindset, along with the brain and decision making. So all those things, most importantly for a quarterback, have to be there if you're going to be great. And he showed that in the fourth quarter. I credit Kevin O'Connell a lot. I mean, I credit him a lot for the fourth quarter, for the second half, really. You could tell he was a little, I don't even know if passive. I don't know what it was, but he was not aggressive at all in play calling in the first half.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the grit.
Yeah.
The grit that JJ McCarthy showed to hang in there when this is a big stage, Monday Night Football. Look how much flack that Kirk Cousins got for the longest time for not performing big games, and this is his first start. Wow. And all the pressure. It would have been so easy for him to just clam up, shell up, and shrivel in this game. Yeah. But he didn't. He didn't quit. And I think that's the important thing here. I mean, yes, there's still a lot to improve, and don't worry. We're going to get to the things that didn't go well tonight, because there is a lot. Even though we won this game and scored 27 points, there's a lot that did not go well. But, props to the defense for even keeping us alive in this game. Even though that there was plenty for the defense to work on, the fact that we hung in this game somehow, and even allowed JJ McCarthy to help get us back in the game is remarkable. But yeah, we'll talk more about JJ McCarthy. But we'll move on to number 2. And I got a comment here. Viking Jerome says, "Skull Vikings, baby." And
What's up, Jerome? Skull, baby.
Dude, we're all skulling out here. And for those that might maybe turned off the TV, like the Bills-Ravens game, man. You can't give up on your team. And if you did, you kind of regret it, because this is one heck of a finish. As a Vikings fan, to be able to come back and be like, holy cow, we came back and won this one. So,
it's crazy. So I'm in Southwest Florida, for those people who don't know. And there was a storm of hurricanal nature that bestowed itself upon my residence this evening, and the lightning, the thunder was so loud and struck, like lightning must have struck like somewhere in my front. I haven't gone and checked on my car yet. It might be on fire, but my daughters come out of the room because I woke them up. Everyone was like, it scared the cat, like everything. It was a huge boom. And it wasn't maybe 15-20 minutes later, my internet cut out. And of course, like everyone else in today's day and age, I stream everything on TV, so I can't even watch the game. And I'm thinking at that point in time, like, this might be a blessing in disguise, because it was not looking good.
I was telling Ryan likely story after that pick 6, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so my Comcast cut out, and weird, because power didn't, nothing else, just Comcast. So and then I was able to like use my phone as a hotspot and get the streaming back up and running, so I could at least watch the game. But it was almost simultaneously as that happened when they actually put together a touchdown drive. So I'm gonna have to cut my internet out every game now.
Austin, welcome. I just saw that you joined. Hey, we just got done talking about JJ McCarthy. Had a rough start, obviously, but came back and grit. I don't want to say had a great game, but had a good finish.
Yeah.
We'll get back to more JJ McCarthy. There's more to talk about, but we're going to move on to the kick return, punt return performance. This was probably the shining star of the night, all throughout the night, I thought. And that was the performance of Miles Price and Ty Chandler, really solidifying, hey, the front office made the right decision. The coaching staff made the right decision in keeping these two on the team. And they truly had a solid night, especially, Miles Price, especially. But Ty Chandler at the end of the game to run that out and having a good run out and not pinning us way back, and having the know-how to look at KOC and get the nod to go and get that sucker under the 2 minutes. That way it wasn't another timeout for the Bears. Smart play. Can't say enough. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Austin, being that you just joined us. But what do you think about Miles Price and Ty Chandler tonight?
I was very impressed with Miles Price. I mean, he put us in good situations. He ran north and south. He didn't do any of that dancing east and west things that kick returners love to do, or punt returners. I'd say he did a good job of putting us in position. a lot of times that we were on the right side of the 50-yard line, and I love that. And the Ty Chandler, I mean, that was very smart play, but I mean, I think that was talked about before he ran out on the field. But that's why you keep an experienced guy like Ty Chandler on the field or on the team. So something in a play like this, he made sure he caught the ball and 2 minutes, 2 seconds, make sure you run the ball out and get to the 2-minute warning.
That was great. Anything to add on that, Ryan?
Yeah.
I completely agree with the returns. Sure-handed and ball security come to mind. There's one punt I remember in the first half where it looked like the ball maybe touched one of our guys. I don't know if it did or not, but it took a weird bounce right to him, and he stuck it. I mean, didn't bobble anything. Very sure hands, and I really think they found a guy. I mean, just based on tonight's performance, anyway. We didn't see any Brandon Powell fumbles or bobbles or muffs, and when it comes to punt return position, it's great to get some yards off of it, which he was able to do. But more importantly, the number one objective is to secure the football, and that's what he did.
So Miles Price on his first kick return, the hit he took on that kick return, and the fact that he held onto that ball, wow, did he take a wallop? And again, held onto the ball. I'm not saying that's always going to be the case. Miles Price had 4 punt returns for 68 yards at along a 22. That is huge. Excellent.
It's huge.
We were at the bottom of the league last year, and already in the first game, I love what I'm seeing of Miles Price. If you're putting comments in X, YouTube, and Facebook, keep doing it. Don't worry. We're going to come around to those. I see your guys' comments. I'm going to come back to you. Don't worry. Keep them coming. We're going to move on to Jordan Mason, especially late in the game. He was showing the Vikings, especially when we couldn't get anything going in the passing game. We weren't getting anything going with Aaron Jones. Jordan Mason really kind of showed the Vikings that he can be that inside run threat that the Vikings have desperately needed. And down the stretch, Jordan Mason was keeping drives alive and really at least churning and willing some of this offense to kind of give us some breathing room and kind of opened up some more of the playbook to where we weren't getting in 3rd and long situations. And I think that also allowed JJ McCarthy to do more things.
100%. Yeah. I mean, we're looking at 15 carries for 68 yards for an average of 4.5 yards per carry. He was exactly the guy that they traded for. And that second touchdown drive third touchdown drive, the one JJ ran in, where they just burned the clock. I mean, he was just mauling dudes, and that's what you need out of that power back position, is someone who is not going down on first contact and can run through tackles, and he was exactly that. I mean, he's got a little pep to his step too for such a big back, and it was just awesome to see a dude with jumbo quads run over some expletives.
No, yeah, for sure. And as soon as we made that trade here on this page, I've even been saying I don't think Aaron Jones is going to end the season as our starting running back. And I honestly think that Aaron Jones is lucky that he did so well in the passing game today. Otherwise, I don't see him being the starting running back next week. But I think he did. That's the place Aaron Jones plays on this defense, that he's going to help us out in the pass game. He does well receiving the football, but Jordan Mason is just such a powerful back, and he's quick on his feet. He hits the holes hard, and it's hard to bring him down, obviously, like we saw it, and he did a great job of that today.
So, so Aaron Jones late came up big for us, obviously, with the touchdown in the big run. But early in the first quarter, I think it was the first or second quarter, that long bomb that JJ McCarthy threw up that was way short. We ended up getting a flag for it. But if he would have hit that Aaron Jones, that's a touchdown. Aaron Jones burnt his guy. We saw that in joint practices. I don't know if you remember that long bomb that Aaron Jones.
Of course.
It was on the other side of the field, but that's the kind of versatility you get with Aaron Jones. Yeah, I'm totally agreeing with you. I think Jordan Mason is our eventual number one, but the utility and the pass catching ability out of the backfield that Aaron Jones has is remarkable, and it's such a weapon for this offense.
I'd love to see snap count for the two because I know it's going to be really close.
Sure.
Carries wise, I think you're going to see Jordan Mason out carry Aaron Jones at almost pretty much every game when they're both in the game.
And should.
Yeah, and should. But what the thing that Aaron Jones brings to the here's why he'll see the field equal amount, especially. You remember the play where Thielen and Speedy ran crossers, and Speedy fell. They called the pass interference. Well, it was a zero blitz play that Chicago ran, and they had double A gaps, and Aaron Jones picked up one of the best blitzes.
Yeah, that was a great
back could pick up, and that allowed JJ McCarthy to rip that ball. Now, of course, Speedy fell. It was a questionable call, but questionable calls go against you, go with you.
Both ways.
Yeah. And but those types of plays is why Aaron Jones will always see the field. He's always been that. He's incredible in blitz pickup.
So Jordan Mason had 15 carries for 68 yards. Aaron Jones had 8 carries for 23 yards. So that was the difference in there. Aaron Jones, of course, had 3 receptions for 44 yards and a touchdown. So that's what he offers in that passing game versus the 1 reception for 7 yards of Jordan Mason. So again, they can be used in different ways. But again, Jordan Mason outsnapped running the ball and outsnapped overall Aaron Jones in this game as far as touches go. As we move on to the defense, JC Hespy says the defense came out slow. I expected JJ to have a rough start, but not the defense. This was really rough. So somehow we managed to keep this score down, and I think false starts really helped us out in certain situations. And I think just somehow the inability to convert from the Bears side. Not saying our defense didn't do some of that, but we weren't getting the pressure, and when we did, we could not touch Caleb Williams. But Jonathan Grenard, for the most part, was everywhere tonight. He just couldn't lock on to Caleb Williams and bring him down. Nobody could.
It was crazy.
So the sacks will come for Grenard. He was getting pressure in there. They'll come. Man, he was impressive tonight. And the other one I thought was equally impressive was Van Ginkel. Almost. And I called it in our article because of how many screens the Bears run. They like to run those to DJ Moore. They also like to do that to Luther Burden. And I thought that they would stay away from any screens on the side of the field to Van Ginkel. I don't know if they just didn't see him where he was in the field, lost, and didn't switch it to the other side of the field and audible it. But he almost got another Gink 6 and nearly housed Caleb Williams at the time when it was 12-17 and we were down. He almost had a go-ahead touchdown. He had a tip pass for that and a TFL. He was all over the place. A very impressive game, I thought, as well from Van Ginkel. But again, the defense did start slow, and I think that changed over time as Brian Flores, we were losing. We were down 17-6, and I think he bumped up the intensity as far as how aggressive we were being. We started sending 5 because we weren't getting the pressure with 4 up front, and that was successful. That at least seemingly that threw Caleb Williams off enough to where he started the game 7 for 7, and that seemingly threw him off to where he was starting to throw some incomplete passes, whether it be overthrows or a little bit too far outside or whatever it may be. So. Your guys' thoughts on Grenard and Van Gink?
Yeah, I thought they both played phenomenally. They were putting the pressure on initially. It's just that Caleb Williams was very shifty. There was times there in the first half he kind of looked like Lamar Jackson somehow. It was ridiculous. But, the initial pressure was good. You got to love what we saw from both of them. The screen game looked amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think our defense, like it said, we had a slow start, but I wouldn't worry about it. It's the first game of the season. We're gonna have a slow start, But then as the game progressed, we looked phenomenally.
You and again, this is on paper, but everyone was talking about the Bears' offensive line and how that was the biggest improvement in the offseason. So you got to look at it from at least that point of view as well. We were also going against, at least on paper, media talking heads want to say is possibly the best or one of the best offensive lines in the league as well too. Now we're supposed to be one of the best defensive lines, and I think in the second half, as you see, number 6, Jonathan Hargrave, Jonathan Allen started getting pressure in that second half, and started wearing down the Bears. Hargrave got a sack in there. Jonathan Allen should have had a sack in there, but I think we started to see that as we started to maybe have a little bit more aggressive play calls in the second half.
And just to touch on that,
2 sacks for Hargrave.
Right. Well, one of them, Caleb stepped out of bounds, but they gave, but so it helped. But
but I'd rather have that than him taking off on us like he was all night.
I mean, that's already half the amount of sacks that our entire interior defensive line had last season. So we're off to a good start. But just to touch on the defense's supposed slow start, I get that they scored on their first drive, but I'm going to tell it, there's not a time you're ever going to see a Ben Johnson offense not come out with
scripted, and you've had all week to prepare
against a defense he's seen over and over and over and over again. Right. And while maybe Flo knows the offense, he doesn't know this, he knows Ben Johnson's scheme. He doesn't know it specifically as it relates to the Bears offense. So, yeah, penalties helped the Vikings. There's no question about it. Very sloppy O-line play, but there is a little nuance when that is, because with the hard count, if you watch really closely within the defensive line, and you'll see, especially Grenard, he's really good at it. But when that first snap count, he switches his stance from left foot front to right foot front. And as he does that, he doesn't move, so he doesn't jump into the neutral zone, but it freaks the line out and they jump. Well, and it may seem like a small thing, but to think that it didn't play a part to their offensive line jumping so many times, trust me, I saw it over and over and over again. It kept happening. So that's part of it. I think that the defense was everything we had hoped for and everything we had expected from the defense. I was very encouraged by what I saw with the defense without Harrison Smith on the field, who even at the age he is that leader in that secondary, puts people in the right position. I was encouraged by what I saw with Theo Jackson, with the exception of a couple tackles that I thought he needs to clean up a little bit more. And the defense is the only reason we won this game.
Yeah.
I did get a text message in,
but
I did get a text message in. We may or may not see Brett. He says he's celebrating yet. And before we came on live, Jonesy got to see, I may have had some celebration, maybe end zone dances, if you will, on camera before we went live. So I can't blame him. Big win.
He's got to be careful. He just got over being sick. He's gonna,
right.
You're gonna get drunk real fast. You just sick.
I don't know if he's even over being sick yet, but can't blame him for celebrating. This is a huge win, first game of the season. Something that it definitely didn't look like a game we were going to win. I don't want to say a Colts 33-0 comeback victory, but it definitely was not going well. Let's go ahead. Before I jump into what didn't go well for us, keep making sure that you're bringing in the comments for us too. Appreciate it. I want to get into some of the other ones about what went well. Philip C says they said something about Tarkenton was the only other quarterback to throw multiple touchdowns. I believe is what he means by that.
Yeah,
in his debut. Yeah, I mean, now again, a very rough start, but the way he came back. You can't really look at the stat sheet on this. He did only throw for 143 yards. But where he did it is what counts,
Pretty sure he had like 101 yards in the fourth quarter. So.
You know what? Chalk it up. We got a W out of it. We won the game. He's going to improve. He's going to learn from this and grow from this. So this is experience that he's going to be able to take with him to better his game in the future. So, I mean, I only expect him to get better from what he did today.
Well, and he only played in 2 preseason games if you include the game last year. So, I mean,
yeah.
He didn't have much game experience. I wasn't expecting too much coming into today, but the way he progressed throughout the second half, I think is going to be very promising.
It's his first complete game in the NFL.
Yeah. Both those preseason games too were at home, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, they were both at home.
And that's. I mean, yes, Jalen Johnson was out, and so was Kyler, but those 2 corners out. Other than that, I mean, this defense added on the trenches as well, and this was a formidable defense still last year, and was supposed to be again this year. So it's not like we were going against cupcakes as far as the defensive side of the ball either. So let's keep that in mind. Skull Fan says, don't forget about Will the Thrill. Huge impact with his career-long field goal before half. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And JJ did a great job in throwing that 28-yard strike to Naylor to put us in position right before the half. I wish we would have saved some timeouts so we could have made a run to possibly put 7 on the board. But again, with limited time and you didn't have the timeouts in pocket, the fact that we got down there, and again, Will the Thrill.
Big leg Bill.
We had doubts early in training camp, and since then, he hasn't missed. So keep that hair long, Will. We love that. All right,
it was a great kick, considering their kicker had the same kick, same side of the field, and was just not good.
Right. Dylan Johnson says, "How are we sculling tonight? We're
Blanton's.
We're gonna be sculling probably all throughout the night.
I feel left out without my whiskey here. God,
it's not too late.
Some of us prepare. You still have time.
I guess I can go get mine. I'll be right back.
You got time. All right. So the next thing we're going to go ahead and move on to is things that did not go well for the Vikings. So this is on both sides of the ball. We're not going to sugarcoat this. I'm not going to give it to you unicorns, lollipops, and cotton candy. JJ McCarthy had deer in the headlights mode going on for much of the game, like Jonesy and I talked about early, probably dang near 3/4 worth of the game. That was a good touchdown to Jefferson that he had, that 28-yard pass that he had in halftime that I just got done talking about. He got going late. The pass to Aaron Jones, his run in for a touchdown, he got going late. But at least early on, and how much of that was him just not feeling comfortable, and how much of that was KOC trying to ease him into the playbook. We'll see what comes out from comments from KOC. But I'd like to, definitely, I feel like he either felt more confident in the second half, late in the second half, or, KOC just said, you know what, if we're going to win this game, pedal the metal.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting question. And like for the first 3 quarters, we were probably all kind of the same thoughts. Who's more to blame here? Is JJ McCarthy just not good? Is KOC not have his quarterback ready?
Right.
Thank God for that 4th quarter. That's why they play 4 quarters. But he was not good. That pick 6 was forced. He was changing plays at the line of scrimmage. It seemed like every play was probably not, but it seemed like every play he was changing the play. It wasn't going well. They were 0 for 8, I think, at one point on 3rd down, which is the money down. And so I don't know, man. They couldn't get the running game going, which I think is crucial for especially a young quarterback like that, because it opens up the passing game. Running game opens up the passing game. So you've heard it all the time. And they couldn't get that going. They couldn't get the short passing game going. They didn't have enough time to throw the intermediate or deep passing game. School lost that left tackle like it was too big for him. And everything that looked like it could go wrong was going wrong for the first 3 quarters. So yeah, it was not pretty. And you give them obviously you give him some leeway for your first start as a pro on the road on Monday Night Football. But if every game starts slow like that, we're gonna have some serious problems.
So this is kind of funny. And I'm gonna throw one of my buddies, a couple of my buddies under the bus. One of them says, and this was early in the game. It says, "I've seen enough. Put in Wentz during the game." This was early on, and another one of my buddies is, yeah, he's kind of saying something similar. And then, of course, as the game goes on, and McCarthy starts doing well, and he's like, "I told you McCarthy was good. Never doubted him for a second." So funny stuff there. Just yeah, it was rough watching early.
I tweeted at 9:41 Eastern, so 8:41 your time. I tweeted, "McCarthy peels off mask. Ponder, is that you?"
Oh God.
It was not looking good.
No, it was looking pretty bad. And honestly, you took the words out of my mouth when you were saying that school was looking rough in that first half. That was awful. That's what I was gonna bring up before you said it. Obviously, I'm bringing it up now, but
yeah,
I honestly think that's kind of why the first half went the way it did. I think the left side was just getting destroyed on the offensive line, and I think that's obviously going to change what they saw in there. But I mean, that interception was inexcusable. He had plenty of time, but yeah, I think it's growing pains. I'm not too worried about it. I think JJ McCarthy, the way he like reeled it in and figured it out at the end of the game, kind of is more promising than anything. I kind of that was more promising than anything because like you brought up Ponder. Ponder's not doing that. He got riled up early in games and just it went away. So I liked how McCarthy was able to reel it in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Before we get into the next topic, I just want to go ahead and give a shout out to one of our other sponsors, SeatGeek. And if you're looking for NFL tickets this season, any Vikings games, use code VikeCentral and get $20 off any $50 plus purchase. That's eligible for all SeatGeek tickets. So whether you're going to concerts, whether you're going to events, other kind of comedy shows or whatever, make sure to use that code again, Vikes Central. So get that $20 off. So Vikes Central for $20 off a $50 purchase. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into the next comment. But as we do that, if you guys have any comments that you want to add, I'm going to ask this question to our viewers out there. And I see we got approaching 2,000 different views right now on this. What do you guys think the ceiling is? Again, after one game, where do you think we go from here with JJ McCarthy? Do you think that you saw enough potential to where, hey, the kids got something there and you see the potential? Are you saying, man, that was rough, we just got lucky there at the end of the game? How are you guys feeling about JJ McCarthy? So go ahead, throw your comments in, whether you're on YouTube, X, Facebook. How do you feel about JJ McCarthy after this first game and where we go from here? Again, one game, small sample size, got some jitters out of the way. Send us your comments. All right, moving on. Caleb Williams seemed like he had a force field around him, and he was putting moves on our defense, more moves than the movie Breaking. We just couldn't tackle the guy. Honestly, I thought I was watching a basketball highlight reel, while you're juking out the guy with some hezzies. Our guys were missing him all over the place. It just seemed like we could not wrangle Caleb Williams. He had 6 runs for 58 yards and a touchdown, almost 2 touchdowns on us running the ball. The other one, he stepped out of bounds right before going across the pylon. But Caleb Williams, I'm going to give him his props. He did play, for the most part, a decent game for 3 quarters. For 3 quarters, he played a pretty solid game. And then the fourth quarter, we turned on the pressure, and honestly, we held them down. They didn't convert like they needed to do in the red zone. And we were able to, they did have a missed field goal opportunity. And then they did have the other drive where they ended up having the penalties that drove them back, and they went for it from fourth down, and we got the stop. And again, some of that had to do with maybe the pressure we got up front that led to an inaccurate pass on 4th and 3. Again, Bears guy, but what are you guys' thoughts on Caleb Williams and how he did, and maybe even part of some of just our inability to wrangle it? And I'm guilty of this. Now, I'm going to give myself a part win because I predicted the score to be 31-24 Vikings. That was pretty close. But I also made mention that Caleb Williams is more of a pocket passer and not as mobile as maybe some of these other running quarterbacks. Well, I'm eating my sock for that one. But what are you guys' thoughts? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb Williams looked a lot better than he did last year. And I mean, honestly, there was times, like I brought it up earlier, like he was looking like Lamar Jackson, but I think that was because he wasn't reading his progressions as well as he should have, and he was maybe bailing out of the pocket sooner than he should. Because some of those plays, we didn't have too much pressure in the pocket, but probably 50% of them we had pressure. But like the other 50, I think he was just bailing. I think he didn't trust his arm, and he was getting worried. Caleb Williams does not look like the first round pick the first overall pick that he was last year. I think he is not progressing the way that everyone wants. And yeah, they got Ben Johnson there, and obviously he's supposed to help him out, but that didn't look like Ben Johnson, like the Detroit Lions. I don't know. Caleb Williams didn't look like the quarterback that he was supposed to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, when you're the number 1 overall pick and seemingly the best quarterback draft class that we've seen since the Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, those guys, quarterback class, then rightfully so, you should be held to a certain expectation, a certain standard. And you bring in the most touted coordinator who's an offensive guy, offensive-minded, brilliant, to come coach your team, and you have the number 1 overall pick. Like, yeah, I mean, you should look good. If you watched him at USC, his ability to make off-schedule plays is what made him the number 1 overall pick. And then we definitely saw that today. There's a reason the Vikings couldn't drag him down. He was all over the place scrambling. And when he took off and run, he was super effective. I think it's kind of weird because Ben Johnson comes from Jared Goff, who is not that guy. He is on schedule. He is by the book. And so it's going to be interesting to me to see how they mesh, because you saw it. There were several times Ben Johnson was visibly frustrated with what Caleb Williams was doing with the football. And I don't know. It'll be fun to watch it play out all season. I do think Caleb Williams has the tools and everything it takes to be a good quarterback. There's no shortage of arm talent. So it's just a matter of if he can put it all together, which he really hasn't yet. But he didn't have any turnovers today, so you got to give him credit for that. There were a few times he still held the ball too long, but more than anything, it was super frustrating watching our defensive line unable to tackle him, because he definitely should have sacked more. I mean, Jonathan Allen, I thought he looked like he was hanging on him, and he still broke free. It was crazy. He looked like Mike Vick out there for a minute, but.
Yeah, and maybe we were just getting psyched out by, the hezzy moves that he was putting on us, and we just needed to just crush him in that moment. We were getting faked out by those moves. They'll remember that for the next time that they play Caleb Williams. So we'll see how we adjust the next time we play the Bears in that. As far as our left tackle, we didn't have Darius on this game. He was kind of questionable going into the game. He was 50-50. We decided to rest him, probably start him next week against the Falcons. Probably the right move. But, man, School is obviously a backup left tackle in the league for a reason, but he was getting absolutely schooled at left tackle for much of the night. We just need Darisaw back ASAP, and hopefully he stays healthy the rest of the year. I will say his performance improved throughout the game, but early on it was rough.
Yeah, I think you saw. I mean, what really got the Vikings going was running to the right side of the offensive line. I mean, behind Fries and behind Brian O'Neill, bringing in Oliver to even help the left side to chip on Sweat or whoever else the Bears were bringing over to School's side to clearly try to shake him up. It is what it is when you have a backup left tackle in. I mean, it's the most important position on the offensive line, that and center. And when you have a top 5 left tackle normally when he's healthy, to then have to see what this guy can do, you can't really expect the whole world out of him. I thought they could have did a better job helping him, because in the first half it seemed they gave him a lot of one-on-ones, and it was bad. If he was in front of the guy, he was getting pushed in a quarterback's lap. I mean, how many times did you see McCarthy's arm get hit or the ball get tipped right at the line of scrimmage? And a lot of it was on School. So hopefully it's not something we have to deal with or see for a long period of time. I do think Darisaw will be back. I think he would have played in this game if their field was in any kind of decent condition. So
I think if he had to, he could have played in this game. He was a full go in practice on Thursday. I think he could have played if he had to. I just think they were playing it safe, and they thought this was, it's a long season. This is week 1. Let's give him another week to get healthy.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not too worried about it. And you said we got to get Darisaw back ASAP. I think that would be the case if we would have lost today. But I mean, if he's not 100% next week, I wouldn't mind letting him rest up a little more and get to where he needs to be for the following week, because it's a little different being 1-0, 0-1. But back to Scooble, his biggest problem to me is he lost inside hands almost every time. You could see that the defensive linemen were getting up into him and just throwing him around where they wanted to be. But it did get better towards the end of the game. I got to give him credit. It looked like maybe he was preparing for Darisaw to start, and then he got thrown into the game, and that's just kind of what happened. So I got to give the guy credit that he got better as the game got on. So if we do have to see him later in the season, I'm not too worried about it. I think he made the adjustments that were needed.
Sure. Moving on, offensive line was allowing pressure from 4-man rush attacks, at least, again, early on in the game for the first 3 quarters, and that's got to improve going forward. I expected a lot of 8-man fronts to stop our running game and really force JJ McCarthy to beat them with his arm. And to an extent, they did that, but a lot of it had to do with the fact that they didn't need to rush 5, 6, 7 blitz packages as much, because they were getting pressure with 4. And, for that, especially when they were hurting in the secondary, they were able to drop back more people into coverage. And I think that also created problems, when they were getting pressure with 4 and our running game was kind of stifled early, you got a lot of people dropping back in coverage, and I think it was really hard. And I think that's possibly why we saw, JJ hold the ball and take off running. What looked like, him just, taking off. It's possibly just nobody was open, because they were getting pressure with 4 and dropping back.
Yeah. They had the Bears had 3 total sacks. It looks like, from what I'm reading, maybe I'm mistaken, but it's just 3 sacks for 9 yards total. So at least they were sacking them close to the line of scrimmage, I guess. But I think I just think it was a lot of nerves. Like I thought that there's a lot of pressure put on this offensive line to perform well, and if you don't get the running game going early, and the defense can pin their ears back on third down early in the game, then yeah, it's going to make a big difference. And you saw that as the second the run game got going, that's when you notice the offensive line suddenly performing like the offensive line we know they can be. The difference between this offensive line and the offensive line we had in many years past was there would never be a chance to get the run game going. But this offensive line was able to dig their cleats in the ground and say, I'm bigger, I'm stronger, and we can pound the rock down your freaking throat. And they did that. And that's so refreshing to see as a Vikings fan, because we just haven't had that in a while. And the second they were able to do that, I mean, the Vikings were down 11. The Bears coming off a missed field goal, and Kevin O'Connell said, we're not abandoning the run game. You got to give them credit for that. And they just that drive sat there and just pounded it. So yeah, the O-line allowed a lot of pressures early in the game. I think a lot of that was just nerves and scheme, and the run game not doing its part.
So the last thing I have on here is costly penalties late in the game. We're up by 10. Bears are driving. They're trying to get a touchdown. We had costly penalties, especially on fourth down from Ivan Pace on Caleb. You hit him high, helmet to helmet. Can't do that. Now in the same play, we also got called on Byron Murphy Jr. on DJ Moore, which, again, that costs us to where, they got an extra down and ended up putting a touchdown on the board and got at least within 3 and at least made us sweat a little bit.
Yeah.
Can't do that. We could have locked it up. This could have been easily a 27-17 type of victory. So just costly penalties that we had in there. But one other one I wanted to add in there. Heaven forbid we ever potentially have him on the show, but I'm not a Ryan Wright fan. And again, he had a shank punt again today that, it just seemed like today he was constantly, part of it was ourselves not being in, but when we really need you to boom a punt, man, got to have some solid contact. We can't have the shanks, and, Oscar Chapman's just a call away.
We can't hold the ball.
Yeah, as I was about to say, that's the whole reason.
Yeah.
You like that 59-yard field goal at the end of the half. I don't know if Oscar Chapman holds the ball for that.
I also don't understand why the punt. Like I was talking to Brett about this when we were talking about the preseason. I don't know why the punter has to be the holder. Also,
why can't be anyone? Yeah,
backup quarterback always used to.
Why can't Wentz or Brosmer get really good?
Or Ty Felton, like a receiver.
Yeah, why can't it be anyone?
Like
whoever's the best at doing it.
Hold the freaking ball. Like that's all that's holding it back. I don't understand it personally. But I don't think you're going to find many people try to defend Ryan Wright, because that shank punt, that was like, I was fuming after that. Like, we can't even punt the freaking ball. Are you kidding me right now? Like, Ryan Wright, like a few less donuts in the offseason, maybe, a little more stretching, you might be able to punt this ball where it's supposed to go. But where we criticize, we should give roses, we should give props. That last punt, which was, I was biting my nails, nervous, because I was like, all we need is a really good punt here, and they're gonna have 10 seconds left to try to.
And we were all thinking, don't shake it again, right?
Yeah, I was like, that was, and he boomed.
We shouldn't have to worry about our punter.
He boomed one on a short. Normally if it's a foot, because they're going to try to block it, so it was just a one-step punt, and he boomed it. So I'll give him credit for that one, which we needed. But yeah, no, overall, like, yeah, I'm cool. Like, if everyone took a vote, like, should we replace Ryan Wright? Like, I'd probably be on that team.
Guys, we already need therapists as Vikings fans for kickers that we've had in the past. We don't need it for punters too.
I wonder what Mitch Berger's up to.
Yeah, I'm not going to bring up Chris Cluey, but but all I'm saying is just like we don't need punter issues, No. So that's one thing on the team that should be the most solid thing to be able to cover, is the punt game.
Well, solid or not, it just shouldn't be something you have to worry about.
Exactly.
You have one job.
You have
two. You got a whole
job.
Yeah.
So before we get into your comments, again, if you had any more comments as well as far as what you saw from JJ McCarthy, what you liked, disliked, what are your thoughts on his performance tonight going forward? Go ahead and throw those in the comments, whether you're on X, YouTube, or Facebook. But before we get into that, I want to give another shout out to Homage. And Homage is another one of our sponsors. They have great clothing. And sports teams, it's great clothing. I love it. I plan to buy more. Please check out their website. That's also another way that you can support us here at Viking Central. So thank you again to Homage for supporting and sponsoring Viking Central. All right, so getting into more of our podcasts, Skull Fan says primetime. First start on the road against a division rival. Was not expecting much, to be honest. The way he came back from adversity and became a true leader to his guys speaks volumes. If he can get the small mistakes figured out and get more comfortable, I would not be surprised if he led them to a playoff run. Thank you for that, Skull Fan. Ryan Austin, your thoughts on Skull Fan?
No, I think it's a pretty good take. I think Ryan honestly said it best earlier. It's 2 preseason games at home. So this was his first road test, and Soldier Field's not an easy test, especially the playing surface being as bad as it was. So, I mean, I thought JJ McCarthy, the way he came back in the fourth quarter and just to show some poise, I think that's kind of why you saw how we won the national championship with Michigan. I think the poise came out there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I to piggyback that, I don't agree with the not expecting much because I feel like we should expect a lot from a number 10 draft pick in the quarterback class in which he was drafted.
I think he maybe
we should
first game on Monday Night Football is maybe where he was going with that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, cool. You're still, you have a roster built for you. We didn't sign Sam Darnold. We didn't bring back Daniel Jones. Aaron Rodgers was begging to be on the team. We
offered Daniel Jones a lot of money.
Not enough
to be a backup.
Yeah, and it probably was a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
I'm saying they could have brought him in if they they made it really worth it. But overall, I have very high expectations for JJ McCarthy. And the first 3 quarters, I turned to my wife and I said, this is the most disappointing first game of the NFL season that I can remember in my lifetime. It was atrocious. And that fourth quarter changed everything. So no, I don't agree with not expecting much. I think we should expect a lot. And I think as fans,
absolutely,
fans, we're so jaded that we learn not to expect much. But I think with the roster that they put together, the money they've spent on the O-line, the money that they've thrown at the interior defensive line in the offseason, and the defense that they have, like, we need to have higher standards and higher expectations for this team. I don't care if he's a first-year starter. They could have brought back a guy. They could have brought in Aaron Rodgers, who's a Super Bowl champion, if they really wanted to, for like $10 million.
There were some comments about that during the very first three quarters.
He threw 4 touchdown passes. And look, I'm not saying we should have Aaron Rodgers. What I'm saying is if you go and you do that and you make those decisions as an organization, you are saying, like, this guy is it. So he better freaking be it.
Yeah, and really just looking at what Skullfan had said too, if you can, get the small mistakes figured out, get more comfortable, and not be surprised if we let him to the playoff. That's the playoff run. That's the expectation. That's why Kwesi went out and signed all these free agents. We've spent all this money. We were the highest spender on salary cap and active money in free agency. We're trying to be, if you will, the Kansas City Chiefs. He is supposed to be our Patrick Mahomes, to where we are going to surround him with all the pieces that he needs to hopefully allow us to contend for a title. So I agree with a lot that Skullfan said. Thank you so much, Skullfan, for your comments. Austin, do you have anything you want to add on to that?
No, I mean, that's exactly. I think he downplayed his comment that he even said, because I think the expectations were for the Vikings to make playoffs. I think that was a genuine consensus among months. Many Vikings fans, even national media, I think that was always the goal. So, I mean, I think if JJ McCarthy comes into his own, I think maybe we make an NFC title run, or maybe even get to the Super Bowl type of deal, like how Brock Purdy did with the 49ers. I mean, I think the world's our oyster. He just has to get it together and figure it out.
All right. Next comment we have is from Jack on X. Jack says that the O-line gave him zero help in the first half. He had no time to throw the ball and had no running game. The only reason why he was deer in the headlights. I can't entirely get on board with that. I mean, he did not look comfortable, at least throughout the first couple quarters, into the third quarter even. I agree that he had O-line issues for sure. They were getting through with 4, and we talked about that allows more people to drop back into coverage. I get it, but I mean, we kind of question how much of that was KOC and the play calling, and how much of that was JJ. I think that's something that's a question for KOC, that he's probably not going to want to throw his guy under the bus. I don't know if we're going to get an honest answer on that early in the season. You're trying to protect your guy, but it could be a combination of the two. Maybe the playbook wasn't, maybe we were running pretty vanilla early on to try to build some confidence with, easy screen passes. We had quite a few balls that got tipped and, coming out of his hand. That could have been disaster as well. But that pick six, I mean,
that was forced.
Yeah. I mean, kind of a rush thing, but I mean, you're staring down your guy and you threw to the inside.
Let me ask you this, not to bring up the past, but just because our fan base is so unique. If a certain player who wore number 8 had the same first half that JJ McCarthy had, would we be saying, oh, the O-line and he didn't have time and there was no running game? Or would we be trashing him?
Oh, he'd be getting trashed.
All right. Well, I don't understand why we would hold that guy, who was like a 4th round draft pick, to a higher standard than this guy, who is supposed to be QB1 franchise player, the next it guy. And I'm not, and look, we didn't make a trade up to go get Drake May or Jaden Daniels. Okay. This was Kevin O'Connell's guy. They weren't willing to give up the draft capital to go get one of those dudes. So they clearly have some crazy, awesome confidence in JJ McCarthy. So no, he doesn't get a pass because the O-line wasn't good. He doesn't get a pass in my book because we weren't able to run the ball. Those are reasons. I understand that. But throwing that ball to Justin Jefferson, trying to force it on the outside,
it was a bad throw,
clearly undercut, is not an acceptable throw. And I'm not going to give him a pass. I'm not going to give him a pass.
And I will give him leeway in his first game. as far as hey, there's going to be some adjustments, some learning curve. We're going to have that throughout the season. I know that's going to happen. That's look at Peyton Manning. His first season, I think he won 3 games. I'm not saying he's Peyton Manning. I'm just saying, even great quarterbacks in their first season, they have a learning curve, but it's an ultimate team game. He has a lot of weapons around him. He's got a great defense. He is set up for success. We should expect this season's not just a throwaway season. And I think that's where you are, Ryan, as well. We drafted him. We even jumped up to number 10 to get him. We got rid of Sam, Kirk and Sam, basically, to bring in a young guy. So we need to expect him to be the guy. So with all the accolades that he's maybe getting tonight, there's going to be
I'll put it this way.
Also some things he's got to take on the bad end, negative side.
I'll put it this way. In my opinion, his floor is Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. That should be the expectation, in my opinion. And his ceiling should be Josh Allen. And if you're below Baker Mayfield, it was an epic failure by the organization.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible take, honestly. I mean, if you get yourself a Baker Mayfield, you're sitting pretty. But to get back to the question that we had on hand, I mean, obviously the interception was bad. I think any quarterback, even if I was out there a quarterback, that's a bad throw. So you can give me shit too. But I'm saying that first half, you can't really worry about how JJ McCarthy played. I know how you were saying if that was Kirk Cousins, we'd have to worry about it. Obviously, yes. But I mean, this was a guy's first NFL start ever. I mean, yes, if he's playing like that, how he did in the first half, 3-4 games from now, then yes, let's sound the flags, let's sound the sirens, let's all get worried. But I mean, right now, I'm not too worried about it. I mean, the way
we're not worried about it because he won.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, obviously we all have the worry in our mind. We're all talking about it. I mean, we all had to deal with Christian Ponder. We all know. It's all on our mind that we're worried about it, but I don't think we have anything to worry about. I think you got to give him another 2-3 games, and I think the way he progresses is what got to me. Is he's able to adjust, but obviously the run game got going. So I mean, it's hard to understand. It's hard to see it.
I will say I still have worries, but I am encouraged by the fact that I saw growth during the game.
Yeah, I couldn't have said that any better.
We go on to the next question. We got another one in here from Fat Killer on X. Do we question KOC's decision to not play starters during the preseason, and does that contribute to the slow start?
How do you not?
I would like to see. I would have liked to have seen at least a few more reps taken by our offensive line, even JJ McCarthy in the preseason. Absolutely, building chemistry, whether it be with the offensive line or even it be JJ with his receivers and live game action. But then you also have the injury bug that has bit some different teams, and we were dealing with some injuries as well ourselves. We saw what happened, and luckily he was able to be back for this game with Josh Metellus. Jalen Naylor luckily made it back as well. And then we also had Justin Jefferson that, we didn't have going into joint practices and through training camp. And luckily we had him in this game. But, so that's always a double-edged sword there. But at least for a rookie quarterback that needs reps, you can't be too scared to play the guy enough to make sure he's ready. And maybe if we did that more, maybe he could have played out those jitters. So I see where Fat Killer is going with that. Man, I mean, let's just say JJ would have got hurt again. Then what kind of heat does he take? Why is he out there? So you can play devil's advocate both ways on this, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from, but if he's gonna get hurt, he's gonna get hurt. The game is football. Like injuries are gonna happen,
man. Right?
I figure a guy hasn't seen much game action, and you spend all this money to put pieces around him, that you're gonna at least get him ready to the point where those jitters are gone come opening game.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen more series.
Yeah,
you start
Go ahead.
You start the season on the road, and he never played a road preseason game.
Yeah.
And then if you look at,
that's very true. Good point, Ryan.
If you look at Joe Burrow, even Patrick Mahomes, even Josh Allen, like they all played more than JJ McCarthy did in the preseason.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, he do I question KO? Look, I have full faith and belief in KOC as a head coach in the NFL. I think we're really lucky to have him. Do I question many things he does? No, but do I also think that this one little instance would have made a difference for him? I do. I really do. I think that he needed some reps, especially away from home. It's a big difference going on the road.
We saw Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase playing in the preseason,
and the Bengals hadn't won a week one game in the last, whatever it was, like
multiple series they played.
Yeah. And then they finally won week one game. Like, look at that. I guess the first 3 quarters of this game was their preseason.
Yeah.
And Fat agrees with some of those points. So, thank you, Fat Killa, for
Fat Killa.
adding that to the chat. So, anything else?
Maybe you can help me. You got like some workout. You would kill the fat, or is it like I want like the nuance behind the name, Fat Killa.
Maybe that's
is it like
gamer tag or something like that?
You shoot people up with Ozempic, like you kill the fat.
Fat Killa. Yeah, you'll have to comment and
hook it up, bro.
Maybe that's
I'm about 100 pounds overweight. Hook it up.
Is there anything that I maybe missed or we missed talking about that you guys wanted to bring up?
One thing I really want to touch on that this game that was so refreshing, awesome to see, and I think you all agree with me, was the performance of Eric Wilson. And stepping in for Blake Cashman, and then on special teams, a block punt, his performance in the passing game, which is incredible. He's amazing against the pass, and in the absence of a really, really solid linebacker in Blake Cashman, he really absolutely stepped it up huge. I did not know that. I don't know why I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that as well.
So Jeff Okudah carted off on the last play. So that's something we'll have to look at and get updates throughout the week.
Like straight up carted off? Like the cart was brought out?
Yeah, so that's one thing I did miss. I did see
we started our stream.
I was waiting to bring that on. But Jeff Okudah will have to keep an eye on.
I hate to answer your question after seeing that, but
well,
I was going to say I hate it when
they do that precautionary too. Sometimes they do that precautionary as well too, with carting players off. We got to keep in mind that I think even Metellus was carted off the field at practice when he had his injury during training camp as a precaution during joint practices. So, hopefully it's nothing major. If it is, we could see,
trying to find something.
We could see somebody brought off the practice squad or possibly dipping in the free agent pool. We did have Fabian Moreau, who's out there. And then we also have, man, I am blanking right now, which I should not be.
Nudie?
Well, Nudi's already on the team, but on the practice squad, we have our young cornerback rookie that I thought should have made the squad, and I don't know why I'm blanking right now on his name, but we have a couple guys on the practice squad that we could see brought on the 53-man roster if Okudah is placed on the IR.
It looks like he's he's being evaluated for concussion. Okuda.
Oh, okay.
No.
I mean, it's just the head.
And I shouldn't say, I should say, it's just concussion. But, hopefully, Jeff Okuda is all right. Thanks, JC, for pointing that out to us. The other one was Blake Cashman. So hamstring issue that Blake had in the game. Hopefully it's nothing that keeps him out too long. Hopefully we can see him back next week. If not, we will surely see more of Eric Wilson and maybe even Kobe King next week. So anything else that you guys want to bring up that maybe we missed? Facula also says that he didn't mention his injury during the post-game conference either. I didn't see the post-game.
Blake.
Yeah, Fat. Are you talking about Okuda or are you talking about Blake Cashman?
Because
I think he's talking about Okuda.
The quote I saw was that Cashman's going to get an MRI on the hamstring and Okuda's being evaluated for concussion.
Okay. Yeah, it could have been Fat just may have missed that. But yeah, no, it
also I was really encouraged with Dallas Turner today. I saw many plays he not just in the pass rush, because I think overall the pass rush was there, we just couldn't bring him down, but more so
we couldn't catch him.
Yeah, the running game, the defense was so solid, and I saw Dallas Turner multiple times setting the edge beautifully. And I was very encouraged by that. I really thought Dallas Turner, I don't know how he's going to grade out and look on film, and you got to go back and watch a lot of it. But from what right off the rip, I really thought he looked like, and he played a lot, and I thought he looked good.
So, I mean, there were opportunities there. We just couldn't wrangle them for sacks today. But I think we should be encouraged by the fact that Hargrave put up 2 sacks and Jonathan Allen should have had a for sure sack in this one. The fact that our interior is making the push like that, we should be encouraged by that in game 1 against a really good offensive line.
Trenches.
Well, and an offensive line that improved on the interior too. So I mean, that's a big point. And
yeah,
I was even going to say this earlier. I mean, I was happy to see that we were getting pressure on the interior. We never see that. I mean, we got to, I guess we did bring this up a lot, but we got to Caleb Williams, but we just couldn't bring him down.
Right.
That's going to change as the year goes on. I mean, I'm not too worried about that. You just got to keep putting the pressure on there. And Miles Turner looked at, I'm actually, compared to last year, I'm super happy. He looked phenomenal compared to last year. And he can keep making the steps. I think he can end up being one of the best pass rushers in the league 2-3 years from now. But just keep hoping he keeps playing like this and he can get a big role, I should say, into our pass rushing crew towards the end of the year.
And Ingram Dawkins with a pass deflection looked awesome out there getting the hands up, and Levi Drake Rodriguez with at least 1 tackle for loss, maybe more, but getting in the backfield and making plays. So and Jalen Redmond stepping it up and making some big plays against the run. I couldn't be happier with what I saw out of the defensive line.
For sure. Any final comments that you got, Ryan?
That's it.
Austin, you got anything?
I'm good.
Hey, if you guys want any more Viking Central coverage, make sure that you check out our Substack to get more in-depth analysis and articles on your favorite team. And again, our link is down on the ticker below, substack.com. Make sure that you search at Viking Central. If you're not already following us on all of our social media, our YouTube, Facebook, X, and TikTok, please make sure that you're doing that. That's one of the ways that you can support us. Again, thank you to our sponsors that we have. That's Badass Wood Art, SeatGeek, and then, of course, Homage. Hey, for Viking Central, you got Ryan, you got Austin, and you got me, Steve. Brett's still partying away. Vikings win. Pull out Monday Night Football Week 1 win, 27-24. Go Vikings, 1-0. Until next time, we're Viking Central. Skol Vikings.
Skol, baby.